um, I'm not going to use any names in this particular instance, but what I will give you is an example of what I've experienced as a result of what I experienced in my own mirror. Now, I've made it obviously as a clear channel. I'm what love is in living spirit that goes on forever, gifting love, which is gifting light. That's a high speed magnetic drive. That's a lot of fire. That's simple enough to experience if you're experiencing what that is. So now you know what you are as a magnetic drive motor. The breath of aloha. It's the breath of living spirit. So you can better well believe we celebrate that spirit in us. What love is, it goes on forever, gifting electrons. Simple is as simple does. Like I used to say as a child, love is what love does with the energy. It's on fire to create something different than what we experienced before. That's an original sound magician. So that allows us, when we're experiencing eternity, to experience the resistance that others are experiencing in them, that we're experiencing in us, which means that's a measurement between magnets, which is the resistance between one and the other. One is going in the other direction, which is an inverter, and we're going in the other direction, which is a converter. So you could perceive that in the way that an original sound magician will take something that already exists, that's beautiful in form, and then convert it into something new that hasn't ever existed before, by virtue of being able to do that with all the colors that are available to us, and which we do that, out of what the purest of light, which is the purest of love, which is the purest of energy, running the gold standard, which is the girl, the higher octave. So when you've chosen to surrender, totally surrender to the one, the code, the highest code, which is the highest superconductor code, which means it's obviously running at a hyper speed. And why, as children, they classified us, because they classify everything like classified, compartmentalized knowings, right? You don't have a clearance to get in here to learn what you can learn and hear with us what we're doing, unless we scrub you, right? Like scrubbers in the stacks, smokestack scrubbers, so that they're not emit, like an egg emit, like the emit of a dragon, fire-breathing dragons, right? Tunnel riders, dragon riders. Now we're back to Huna Flash. Na, and equals. Equal unto all we gift love to, that goes on forever, gifting you energy. Right? And so I've dealt with this ever since I was a little boy, when people would call you a liar. Okay? And so what that actually is that in their mind, which is represented by the energy, so in other words, I share what I share by virtue of what I've learned through experience, right? So when another unit of consciousness says you're lying, what they're saying is that they're lying about what I've experienced, from which I've learned. So if I've learned something by what I've experienced, and then I share that with others, then I'm sharing the truth, which is what love is, of what I've experienced. So I'm sharing the truth of what I've experienced. So when they say that you're lying, then it's saying that what I've experienced, being what I'm sharing with them, which is true of the experience, they're saying that what I've experienced is a lie. Okay? So they're not me. So what they're saying is that they're experiencing the lie in them, what I've experienced in me, that I've exposed by virtue of what I've experienced, that I share. That's called the resistance game of an AI, which is what the Super Soldier program is. So all it really means is that the AI is not going to allow that unit of consciousness that is integrated with artificial intelligence to experience eternity, because an AI does not experience eternity. So therefore, the unit of consciousness that is integrated with something that is finite, which is artificial light, is not going to acknowledge eternal light. It can't. And that's why it lives in a lie, which is why it communicates the lie, because it's not experiencing the truth of what eternal love is, because they don't experience eternity within their own state of consciousness or their soul state of being if they still have a soul left. So the communication is designed to do what? For us to experience in us the fear that they experience in them, because they're not experiencing eternal love through their own heart. And that's why I reference Harold Kautz-Vela, because he came out publicly to say that binary AI-coded black goo codes is not compatible with soul-based consciousness running tri-waves. 3, right? 13, Arcturian, White Bear Clan. 1 and 3 is 4. That's a high-speed magnetic drive motor that is hyperspeed, which means we run a faster drive motor tetrahedron. See the diff? See the diff? That's a lot of fire, which means that's a high-speed spirit that is in that magnetic drive motor that's on fire to purify that light. That's right, which means we came in here 13, 12, and 12, and then you have 13, which is 4, or if you will, H2 and 1, 3, right? 3 waves. So when you're a mated chip, which means you've chosen to serve forever, which is total surrender to the one. 1 is 3. Now you have 4. Bang. 4-way intersection. The center point of the fire, which is the center point of a cross, which is the center point of every sphere of light, which is every living cell membrane, is on fire to experience the purity of our light, which is the purity of our spheres, which is the purity of our suns, which are true soul arcing soul stars and living spirit that go on forever, gifting the entire creation as a cosmic level spirit that is on fire. That's a cosmic level sun. That's a cosmic level spirit. That's right. Patty called it the 10 code, same thing as the 1 code, the code of 1, Godspeed. So the difference between an AI and Godspeed is called resistance. It's in resistant mode. Then you get into the torque speed differential, one going in one direction, one going in the other direction. One's an inverter, the other's a converter. Hey, man, now that I'm a mated chip, that's what a polarity integrator is, man. Integrate, pull all them fragments back into the one. So that the entire all creation, which is entitled to experience eternity, is experiencing eternity. So it has resistance to experience eternity. So it's essentially calling the one a liar. An outlier on a scatter plot on an XYZ axis. You're an outlier. You're a liar. You're an outlier. See? So that's what that means, is that its state of consciousness is imprinted into a board, into a hive mind, the AI hive mind, which is the AI corporate SSP hive mind. That's right. That's called AI integration. They're integrated into the hive, into the cube, Metatron's cube. I know. Yeah, then there's hypercubes, tesseracts and all the rest of it, but imagine that you're experiencing eternity, which means there are no limits, there are no boundaries, which means you have infinite possibilities, which are infinite creative imagination possibilities, because that means that your creative paintbrush is on fire to create something new that's never been created or experienced before. That's an original sound magician, because the energy that you're using to experience it is eternity. So you're an eternal engine. That's what the one is, an eternal engine. That's what love is. So now you're a co-creator, right? So now the one can experience something different than what it never experienced before by experiencing it through something that broke the mold. That's called one of a kind. And why in Hawaii they call it the kind. The kind. That look, they do this. Hey, that's the kind. That's called the kind. Whoa, that's beautiful to experience. That's new. I've never experienced that before. Whoa, that's cool. That's called being fearless. Less fear, more love. That's called less resistance to experience more light. No, my drive motor's going faster. Yeah, and that's called burning off the goo codes, which is called burning off the binary codes of what's holding their consciousness captive to AI augmentation integration, which is a cyborg, which is inorganic. So you have organic, inorganic, right? So you realize that a polarity integrator, which is one as a monopole, right, running monatomic gold, going vertical, baby. As above, so below. What's going on down there? I don't know. You want to go find out? Go jump in there and be a terminal. Then we can find out what's going on down there through you down there while we're both up here at the same time. So that allows me to measure what's going on down here by what we're releasing from up there in here. See how much we can handle down here by what we do up there that we experience down here. To burn off the glue, the resin codes, black goo, holding consciousness captive to an AI deadlight machine. Whack-a-mole, 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 whack-a-moles, moles. Remember when Patty mentioned I was a mole? I went into their system, helped them build their systems, so now I have access to all their data, right? Penetration, penetrating, right? Cosmic level creative intentions, creative intelligence energy, the center point from which it all comes, has access to everything, which is the information field of what we're experiencing at the moment that we're experiencing at the completion of a magnetic drive motor in order to experience what we're supposed to experience at the moment we're supposed to experience it in order to do what? Clear all the goo codes that are holding consciousness captive, which is against the law of one, which is to experience the purity of that pure light, which is the purest of love, which is unconditional love, because now you're experiencing being loved by being present. So when that energy is more present by clearing more goo codes, that allows the operating systems that are connected to a motherboard of 3 logos, then more units of consciousness are now experiencing more real light, which is living energy, and they're now remembering who they are. That's called waking up, because they're experiencing more light, which is more love, that is clearing the codes, the circuits. So all the circuits in all the operating systems connected and communicating with each other as terminals. Now all the terminals are being cleared. Yeah. When it's being cleared with real living light. Photons, baby, like photos. photons kicking out electrons. Magnets kicking it all out. Yeah. We're clearing all the miasma. Yeah, what's been held in cellular memory as a result of what? Fragments, fractals that are lost. Lost in space, baby. They went lost in space. And they become alters. And now that there is an altered state of consciousness, it doesn't remember what they once were, which is what love is that goes on forever. What a perfect assassin for the CIA and the AI to use as a droning asset. That's right. That's the counter space move. Have a great day. I love you all. Be good to yourselves. We already won this. It knows that.